irritated by the one you thought you loved. It happens all the time. You lie when you look me in the eye. All I wanted was to hear the truth from you, but you never comply. Yet I wonder why I feel so violated, so frustrated, irritated by the one you thought you loved. Got no patience, it won't take it. Irritated by the one you thought you loved. I put all my trust in you, but you threw it all aside. Never have I felt so used by someone like you. How could I be so blind? Yet I wonder why I feel so violated, so frustrated, irritated by the one you thought you loved. Got no patience, it won't take it. Irritated by the one you thought you loved. And now you're gone, so glad you're out of my life. And now that you've gone away, I'm so glad you're out of my mind. That's why I felt violated, so frustrated, irritated by the one you thought you loved. Violated, so frustrated, irritated by the one you thought you loved. Got no patience, it won't take it. Irritated by the one you thought you
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. We could be. We might be. We appear to be. We are live. Live, ladies and gentlemen, here on the I'm No Joe YouTube channel. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages for this type of shenaniganry, to the latest episode of the, what did I say, show? The show where I hold our predictions and shit talking from the I'm No Joe podcast accountable and give you guys a recap of how things actually played out in the event that we broke down for you. So, as has been told to me by folks much smarter than myself many times now, before I get into it, I need to let you folks know where you can go if you want more of the shit talking and shenaniganery we bring you from the I'm No Joe network here. So you can find us on basically all social media platforms. We're on Facebook at I'm No Joe. We're on Instagram at I'm No Joe. You can catch us on YouTube for the video portion of the show here on YouTube, I'm No Joe. You can also, if understandably the Instagram influencer level faces on the show can be too distracting for you, fret not, mon ami, we've got you covered there as well. The all audio version of the podcast is available the week after it airs over on anchor.fm/I'm No Joe to be consumed in your podcast platform of choice. That being said, if you really love the shit we get up to around here, you want to support us, patreon.com/I'm No Joe to join the patron squad, get your name up on the board, get access to the behind the scenes shit, the unaired things, and even the unairable things that only those Patreon supporters get access to. That being said, we had one hell of an event shake loose last night. UFC Fight Night, Santos versus Teixera kicked off. Man, for a card that didn't have a ton of hype going into it, it sure the fuck came out making headlines. We had some serious fucking insanity last night. This card from top to fucking bottom was nothing but action. There were 2 decisions out of 10 fights on the whole card. 8 finishes, either submissions or knockouts or TKOs out of 10 is pretty fucking spectacular of a track record for any MMA organization going right now. And it was fucking incredible to see some of these big time fucking finishes here. So right out the gate, starting right at the very fucking top, Gustavo Lopez with one of the smoothest fucking chokes after some big lefts to set it up fucking properly. They opened the card with a fucking crazy fight that didn't even last 3 fucking minutes and a beautiful submission to kick things off. Very, very fucking happy to see that. Gustavo Lopez is a fucking monster. If he keeps going the way that we saw him last night, that man's going to be a serious problem for some of those fucking bantamweights in the future. Now, after that, hang on, my fucking markers are dying here. Trying to keep track of my notes. There we go. So after that, we got, I think it might be history making. I'm not 100% certain. I would have to go back and double check a little deeper than I did, but I have not been able to find another instance of anyone actively getting their ear elbowed off their head during an active MMA match. That is exactly what happened to poor Ramiz Brahimaj. Max Griffin came out looking spectacular last night. And then something that I had never in my entire life seen happen live happened right before my very fucking eyes. I watched Max Griffin land a short elbow over the top and coming down directly, and I mean directly on the front of the ear of Brahimov, where he had just punched him a second before, and you saw the ear puff up. He landed square on the ear, and it was already starting to swell. And then Griffin comes over the top with this fucking nasty and perfectly precise elbow, nails him right in the front of the ear, and his fucking ear fell off his head, people. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. As soon as this show is done, I highly fucking encourage you to go Google or YouTube the clip. His ear got elbowed off his fucking head. It was absolutely insane. I have seen so many crazy fucking injuries through watching MMA for so many fucking years. I have never seen someone get their fucking ear knocked off of their head during a match like this before. And when the referee steps in and yells and he says, no, that's it. Stop. Brahimov looks at the ref and he goes, what? And then goes like this and pushes his ear back up to his head. It looks like a slinky attached to the side of his head. It's literally only connected to his skull by the base of his fucking earlobe. It was literally one of the nastiest fucking strikes I have ever seen done in MMA, period. It was fucking insane. And to his credit, Max Griffin was looking spectacular all the way up until then. So had he not actually knocked the fucking ear off of Brahimov, I have no doubt he would have finished and won that fucking fight anyway. But holy fucking shit. I have never seen anything even remotely close to something that fucking crazy. It was the Max Griffin versus what was his? Ramiz Brahimaj, the second fight on the UFC card last night. Dude, I'm telling you right now, it's one of those things you don't want to see, but you kind of have to. And once you do, you're like, oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. That's insane. And the clip of it happening live, because there's pictures of it all over, of dude's ear just fucking hanging. But to watch the sequence of it happening is fucking brain melting. Like, it's fucking insane. Props to Max Griffin. Props to Brahimov for being a badass and literally just holding his ear back against his head with a fucking towel while they did the announcement of the end of the fight and shit. He didn't run out and go fucking straight to the hospital. He hung out. He was mad that they stopped the fight with his fucking ear hanging off. So props for being a tough motherfucker and wanting to keep going and hang in there. But I just got the heebie-jeebies thinking about it. I saw it play in my head again. Oh my God. It was fucking insane. Max Griffin, after getting his ass kicked by some legitimately top name fucking talent and early in his UFC opportunity, he's definitely starting to turn it around, and he's looking much better every time we see him out there. I don't know that this is going to be his signature move going forward, but holy shit, is that a good way to get some fucking attention and some respect put on your fucking name. That he is definitely going to do with that fucking maneuver. And then keeping the fucking finish train rolling right after that, Darren the Damage fucking Elkins, one of our favorites on the fucking show, has been doing it for fucking ever, but lately he was starting to give you glimpses of maybe it's time to start looking at other career opportunities. No, not the fucking case. After putting on a damn good fight for 3 rounds, almost to the end of the goddamn fight, he slides in aggressively. One of the most beautiful fucking RNCs you will ever get a chance to fucking watch. Locked it in with fucking authority and just dominated that fucking fight. Props to Darren Elkins. I don't think that's going to shoot him up the ladder any, but it's definitely going to keep him from getting fucking walking papers, which is kind of what it looked like they were aiming for. That's for damn sure. Be interesting where they put the Damage going forward, because that motherfucker is always a problem. He just seemed like he was wavering off for a little bit there, and with that fucking performance last night, maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe he was just having a rough couple goes of things. From there, though, holy shit. The finishes keep on fucking going. Every fight on the prelims ended with either a submission or a fucking TKO. This one was no exception. When the big men got in there on the prelims, shit got fucking crazy. At one point, there was a fucking power slam where you saw the entire octagon fucking shake a little bit. And you got to think legitimately, when that slam happened, there is 600 pounds of man plus impact force coming down in that spot on the canvas. And it shook the whole fucking thing. That's some serious fucking impact, and you don't want to be underneath something like that. And there was a couple of them that you felt in your fucking chest watching it happen and hearing the fucking hard ass slam from them fucking hitting the ground. Oh my fucking God. And man, this one has been done before, but they are few and far between, and generally not from the angle that he hit it from. When Alexander Romanov had DeLima on the ground, he actually got him with a forearm pressure choke by putting his fucking arm right across the fucking esophagus of DeLima and basically grabbing the back of his head, and just one arm strong man. They called it the big brother choke because it's one of those that you used to do as a kid to your little brother. You didn't want to choke him out, but you wanted to let him know how much stronger you were than he was. That's basically what Alexander Romanov did to DeLima. And it's funny because DeLima looked much bigger than Romanov. It looked like Romanov was closer to, not at, but closer to a light heavyweight at 205 stance. I think he came in at like 240 and a decent looking 240, but DeLima, as always, is like 263 and dad bod for days. But the fucking forearm pressure choke that he got on DeLima was fucking insane. And it actually ended up getting him performance of the night bonus, because even Dana was like, holy shit, that guy just fucking pressure choked a heavyweight. So props to him for that. The final card of the prelims, the quote unquote premier prelim fight, Trevin Giles versus Bevon Lewis. Trevin Giles made up, in my opinion, for not making it to the octagon last time, for passing out in the back on his way out. He came out and just looked fucking smooth and crisp. He was in control. He was being very technical. He was being very precise with his striking. And when the moment came in, good night, Gracie. He fucking destroyed Bevon Lewis. Very, very nice to see that. The passing out thing legitimately must have been some kind of I'm guessing it was an issue from weight cutting that they just don't want to talk about. But nice to see Trevin Giles back in the active column and getting a damn fine W that he absolutely fucking earned. That will bring us over to the main card. Ironically enough, for the first decision fight of the evening, the ladies opened the card up. Claudia Gadelha versus Yan Xiaonan. Man, you hate to see it because this is one of the things that we were looking forward to see if Claudia Gadelha had really kind of absorbed anything from that new camp that she had moved to, because it's a great fucking camp. And if anybody's going to be able to get you on the right fucking track, it should be those guys. For whatever reason, Claudia looked exactly like the same old Claudia. I believe my exact words during this fight is she's a broken fucking record, because she kept trying the same shit. She kept trying to push her against the fence. She kept trying to take her to the ground, but wasn't mixing up her takedown attempts, wasn't hiding it, wasn't being effective with her takedown attempts. And the other part of the fight that we saw was much like Weili Zhang did to Joanna in their fight, Yan Xiaonan was throwing the ever-living fuck out of the straight jab directly to the center of the forehead of Gadelha. And by the end of the fight, Gadelha was starting to have the fucking Ferengi hematoma showing up on the middle of her goddamn head, just like Joanna did when she fought Weili. So there's something about the way that they are training in that fucking Chinese MMA camp that they rely on that fucking forehead punch. And for whatever reason, all the girls that fight them cannot seem to do this. Claudia ate every single one of those fucking straight down the middle jabs that Yan was throwing. They were effective everywhere, when they were trying to go on the ground, when they were on the feet. Every time that straight fucking jab came out, Claudia ate one right to the fucking dome. And you could see at the end, she was starting to get some big old fucking lump developing on that forehead. Not quite Joanna status, but it was on its fucking way. Props to Yan Xiaonan. She is a fucking problem in that division. We actually talked a little bit about it in our group chat and a little bit while we were watching the fight here. I think at this point, going forward at the top of the strawweight division, because this was number 2 versus number 4, I believe. Obviously, we all know Rose is fighting Weili next. I think she's taking her fucking belt back. But that actually sets up a very beautiful fight, because that would put number 1 and number 2 both being the ladies from China. See if Weili can stay at the top. See if Yan can get past her. Makes for interesting fights going forward. I think the top of the ladies strawweight division just got very exciting. I don't think Claudia should have been as high at the top as she is, but I still believe she should be top 10. So I think things are starting to shake out a little more accurately. I think it's going to get real interesting watching what 2021 does to the ladies strawweight division. Now, that being said, we got the decision fight out of the way. Now we get back to another fucking amazing finish. Our boy, big fucking friend of the show here, one of our fucking favorites, Giga Chikadze, came out, short notice fight. I believe he took the fight on 6 days notice against Jamie Simmons, making his UFC debut. He didn't even need a full round. You could tell from the very beginning of this fight that Giga Chikadze was in full control here, that Jamie Simmons might have been great in his previous organization, but he just is not ready for the UFC just quite yet. At least not ready to take on someone like Giga Chikadze just quite yet. Maybe getting someone coming off the Contender Series, one of those fucking soup cans, or somebody completely unknown who also maybe was making their debut, or somebody with one fight in the UFC. We've known from the get-go that Giga Chikadze was a fucking potential future star, and he is absolutely absolutely proving that to be 100% accurate. Came out with a beautifully fucking timed and placed head kick that dropped Jamie Simmons, and then the follow-up quick fucking finishing sequence. Again, it was so fucking beautiful that Giga Chikadze got the other performance of the night bonus for that head kick leading finish that he got against Jamie Simmons. Again, this is one of those situations I don't want to wish Jamie Simmons ill. I just think you might have been a little over your fucking head tonight, son. Go back to the fucking locker room, regroup, maybe look at being a little more selective with your next fight, because I think honestly, if Jamie Simmons had known that it would have been Giga Chikadze he was facing, he should have not taken that fight. I get it, it's your debut, but I mean, I don't know anyone that had more faith in Jamie Simmons to have a chance in that fight than they did almost going and looking forward to see how Giga Chikadze was going to finish him, and he absolutely did. That being said, coming up to the next fight after that, the other decision fight of the evening, but this one, the ladies' fight was good. This fight was better. Raoni Barcelos versus Khalid Taha. Khalid, whatever. Fight of the night. Literally, we called it while it was happening, and Dana fucking agreed after, and these boys got fight of the night. This was an absolute 3-round fucking war. We said that we were excited about this fight. There was good fucking reason for it. They proved us to be 100% on the fucking money. Unfortunately, it did not go the way that I assumed it was going to in my pick. Barcelos did get the nod here, but man, I think Barcelos getting the nod has more to do with the judging than it did with the fight itself, because that was a fucking great back and forth. There was give and takes on both sides. There was big fucking shots landed by both gentlemen. But for some fucking reason, when it gets to the judges' scorecards, it comes out 30-27 for Barcelos. I wouldn't have been mad if it would have been a split decision going to Barcelos, but there is no fucking way in any universe that was a 30-27 victory for Barcelos. No fucking way whatsoever. Great fight. Absolutely fight of the night. No fucking way it was 30-27 Barcelos. It's not possible. That being said, coming into our main event, the co-main event rather, this kind of reinforces my opinion about it wasn't so much the issue of the fights as it was the judges that we had. Sal D'Amato was there, and anytime Sal D'Amato is involved, you can almost guarantee there's going to be some bad fucking judging. I don't understand how Nevada keeps sanctioning him, because he's had controversial and often easily wrong decisions in so many important fucking fights that it's almost embarrassing at this point, but what the fuck ever. Andrei Arlovsky versus Tanner Boser. This fight was a tale of two fighters. On one hand, it was Tanner Boser just not being able to do enough. On the other hand, it was Andrei Arlovsky just barely doing more than nothing. Arlovsky never landed any good shots, was never in control of the fight at all, in my opinion. Was playing the give one to take one game more often than he wasn't. Tanner landed some fucking crazy shots. Tanner missed a bunch of big shots, but he was trying. He was going after it. He was trying to win the goddamn fight way more than Arlovsky was, in my opinion. And again, somehow we end up with a decision for Arlovsky that it seemed like even Arlovsky was surprised about when they announced it. Like even he was genuinely shocked that they gave him the decision win. This is another one of those situations where we talk about the old guys, when they get to that point, you need to find a way to gracefully hang them up. You are not on a Glover Teixeira run if you are Andrei Arlovsky, and you don't have any any prospect of going on a run the way that Glover is right now, I think it's time for Arlovsky to seriously consider take that fucking W and go home. Lay your fucking gloves down when you go out on a fucking win, because the losses that Arlovsky has had have been getting progressively worse. We anticipated Arlovsky getting knocked the fuck out. How his chin held up for this fight, I am genuinely surprised with, and do not have any faith that it will maintain going forward. That being said, a W is a W, and we know damn well that Arlovsky would be more than happy with a fucking decision win, because it is still a win, and he's on a fucking bad way right now. So, you know, Arlovsky gets the fucking win, but legitimately at what cost to his legacy and his future. That being said, though, our main event, to say the least, did not go as anticipated. I can't say that I was surprised at what Glover did, because that's kind of how we thought Glover was going to go if Thiago's leg was not 100%. The difference is Thiago's leg was 100%, and he still couldn't stop Glover from doing what he was doing, from initiating takedowns, from maintaining powerful top control. To be fair, Santos doesn't make anything easy for anyone. And Glover even said after the fight, they don't call him the sledgehammer for nothing. Every time he hit me, it felt like someone was hitting me with a sledgehammer. And I think he may have broken some bones in my face. I'm definitely going to the hospital after I'm done with media tonight to get checked out. Santos swings them fucking hammers in his gloves, man. That dude hits like a fucking tank. I legitimately was surprised at how he was letting himself get put into. See, we're live. So many bad situations on the ground, being as how that they are both black belts, and Santos should have easily known what he was in for. And he has said himself, he is disappointed in himself. He is disappointed in his performance, and he apologizes to his coach and everyone else that he should have known how to stop what was being done to him. And for whatever reason in the moment, he just didn't. Props to Glover, man. That crafty old bastard is still fucking doing it. And he almost finished it in the second round when he had Santos in the same choke that he finished him with in the third. Santos literally got saved by the bell at the end of round 2. But Glover came back in 3 and just did exactly the same fucking thing after a little bit, put him right back on the ground and got that same choke put in. It's going to be interesting to see how this part goes forward, because Glover Teixeira in his post-fight said, you know, I think this is a 6-fight win streak now that he's on against all of the top contenders in the light heavyweight division. He said, I want my title shot. I absolutely agree with him. I think he absolutely has earned himself the next title shot at 205. The issue comes down to 2 things. One, the Israel Adesanya fight that they have already said that they're going to make against Jan, which caveat to that, Jan has already stated that if Israel cannot wait until March, or if Israel wants to wait, something along the lines of either if Israel wants to wait or has to wait longer than March, then he would gladly fight Glover first, and then Israel can wait and find out what goes on after that. The other part is Dana White. As we all know, Dana gives 0 shits what's in the best interest of the fighters. Dana concerns himself with what's best for the UFC. So when Dana comes out, he says that Glover absolutely did call for the title shot, and he does absolutely deserve it. That's it. He agrees. He agrees that he deserves it. Not a fucking peep about if he's going to get it. Crickets when it comes to that point. So I have a feeling they're going to try and fuck Glover as far as the title shot goes, which is legitimately bullshit. I agree Izzy moving up should absolutely get a shot at the title, but I do not agree that he should be able to jump the line when we've got a clear number one contender in Glover Teixeira. I absolutely think that Jan versus Glover is the fight to make, and then whoever the winner is can then take on Izzy for International Fight Week. I think the title being defended against someone in that division is more important than a potential champ. Not to mention, we know that Izzy's really only doing this to get under John Jones's skin. We all knew Izzy was going to go there, or a lot of us knew that Izzy was going to go to light heavyweight eventually because he does walk around about 205, 210. He walks around as a natural light heavyweight, which will give him an absolute advantage when he gets there because he'll be cutting zero, if any, fucking maybe a couple of pounds of weight against guys who are walking around north of 250 and cutting down to 205 to fight as a large light heavyweight. I think Jan said he walks around at like 245. So that's what I'm talking about in that situation there. But again, it all comes back to Dana because we know Dana doesn't give a shit what's best for the fighter or what actually is what the fans want. He cares about what's best for the company and what the company thinks the fans want. So we're going to have to see how it actually plays out. I have a feeling it may not get to where we see what we want, despite how loud we get about it. It's still going to be Dana's fucking game as it always is, but we generally kind of expect that at this point. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I think that makes for a lot of interesting potential matchups with Santos now that he has been defeated and is not going directly back to the belt like a lot of us thought he would be. That makes a lot of interesting fights at the top of 205. Not to mention Yoel Romero is talking about coming up to 205 now as well. And Robert Whitaker has now come out this week and said that if they're not going to give him the shot at Izzy because Dana misconstrued what he said about wanting to wait until March because he's got a child coming and wants to spend Christmas with his family, that he might just say fuck it and go up to 205 as well. So there's a lot of prominent, very big for the division middleweights who are talking about going up to 205. But again, we know how that move has gone for the guys who have tried it in the past, but those guys weren't the guys that are talking about doing it now. So middleweight and light heavyweight are getting really, really interesting right now in the UFC. And then again, on the small side of it, we have got coming up in 2 weeks, the UFC 255 with the double strawweight, or the double flyweight belts on the line. Valentina taking on Jennifer Maia, and then Figueiredo taking on Alex Perez, which is a whole shit show unto itself. We'll talk more about those. But 25 is getting interesting on both sides of the house down there. 35 is real fucking interesting down there. It's the UFC is starting to get a lot more diversity in the divisions that are worth watching, I guess would be the best way to say that. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shake loose. As of right now, there has not been a whole lot of news last night or today come out. So we will see how the next 24 to 48 hours go. If the news cycle stays, told you we're doing this live. If the news cycle stays slow, we will probably not have a Joe Liminaries this week. We will just do another full course meal episode on Thursday night for I'm No Joe, but that all depends on how the news cycle goes. We will wait and we will see, but that is all we have for this particular episode of the What Did I Say show. Thank you again to everyone, whether you are here in the chat live, I see you motherfuckers over there, or you are catching this on a replay. I appreciate you guys nonetheless. If you appreciate what we do around here, give us a thumbs up. If you like what we do around here and we're beneficial to you, subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss a show. If you crave the information and the shenanigans and shit talking that we provide here on the I'm No Joe network, share an episode of the goddamn show. Any one of the shows, share an episode. Show some of your friends. Maybe they like it too. We're trying to grow this thing. The opposite side of that coin, though, if we're just a bunch of dipshits sitting around in front of webcams not knowing what the fuck we're talking about, give us a thumbs down. We earned it, and we won't dispute it. That being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this one. So until next time, folks, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Wink.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what